Some nights feel heavier than others, when sleep feels distant, and your mind just won't slow down. Maybe you've been overthinking, carrying the weight of unanswered questions, unfinished tasks, or quiet sadness that no one seems to notice. If that's where you are tonight, know that you're not alone. Right now, someone in the world, in different time zones and different lives, we're all connected by a shared longing for ease, for stillness, for something softer than the noise. Take a moment now to settle in. Gently adjust your position so your body feels supported. Let your shoulders drop. Take a deep breath in and slowly let it go. With every breath, feel yourself sinking into safety, into quiet, into presence. This is your time. You don't need to figure anything out right now. Just be here. If you feel like it, you can share in the comments where you're listening from or how you're feeling tonight. It may seem small, but knowing that others are out there in cities, towns, and quiet corners of the world, also listening, also feeling, brings us closer. And in this space, you are held. As you listen to this video, know that you're already practicing a form of meditation. There's nothing you need to do. Just by listening, your mind begins to soften. Your heart begins to open. Over time, something inside you gently shifts, sometimes without you even noticing. And that's the quiet magic of meditation. It doesn't force. It invites. Here on this channel, Zen Buddhism, we're simply walking alongside you, sharing stories, reflections, and gentle guidance drawn from the wisdom of Zen. Tonight, we begin with a simple truth. Life does not need to be complicated to be meaningful. The Buddha once said, "The one who is happy is the one who knows how to be content." And to be content, we must first learn to let go. And now, gently, let's begin with something simple. A soft shift from listening to feeling. Picture yourself standing in a quiet room. The air is still. Light filters through the window. This room is yours? Maybe it's a little cluttered, a little forgotten. But tonight, you are not here to fix it. You are here to be with it. One breath at a time, you reach for the first item. It might be an old book, a shirt, a forgotten object. You hold it, then place it down. With each movement, you let go. A thought, a worry, a memory. You're not throwing anything away in anger. You're simply making space. Someone once said, clearing a room is like clearing the heart. And it's true. The more you tidy, the lighter you feel. The less you cling to, the deeper you breathe. You notice the floor again, the space, the lightness. This is not just a room. It's your inner world. And every time you release something, your heart unclenches just a little. You are not escaping. You are returning slowly, gently, home. And now, gently, let's begin with something simple. A soft shift from listening to feeling. Picture yourself standing in a quiet room. The air is still. Light filters through the window. This room is yours. Maybe it's a little cluttered, a little forgotten. But tonight, you are not here to fix it. You are here to be with it, one breath at a time. You reach for the first item. It might be an old book, a shirt, a forgotten object. You hold it, then place it down. With each movement, you let go. A thought, a worry, a memory. You're not throwing anything away in anger. You're simply making space. Someone once said, clearing a room is like clearing the heart. And it's true. The more you tidy, the lighter you feel. The less you cling to, the deeper you breathe. You notice the floor again. The space, the lightness. This is not just a room. It's your inner world. And every time you release something, your heart unclenches just a little. You are not escaping. You are returning slowly, gently home. Claire was 40, a single mother. And like many others, she had been holding her world together with two hands. No rest, no breaks, no one to catch her when she got tired. Her morning started before the sun came up, packing lunches, checking emails, throwing clothes in the dryer while brushing her daughter's hair, already thinking ahead to the next thing and the next. Her life was full of doing, managing, remembering, and holding space for everything and everyone except herself. For years, she told herself this was what strength looked like. She didn't complain, didn't ask for help. She believed being a good mother meant always showing up, always staying in control, always holding it all, even when she was falling apart inside. That day, it was something small. She had left work late, caught in traffic, and arrived at the school pickup line 20 minutes behind. Her daughter stood on the curb, arms crossed, face tight with frustration. As soon as Claire pulled up, she could feel it, the silent accusation, the disappointment in her child's eyes, the unspoken words, "You weren't here when I needed you." Claire opened the car door with an apology already forming. But before she could speak, her daughter snapped. "You're always late. Everyone else's mom was here on time." And then silence. Claire's hands tightened on the steering wheel as they drove home. She tried to breathe through it, to let it pass. But the comment kept echoing in her head. Not because it was unfair, but because it touched something raw. Something she had been trying so hard not to feel. At home, her daughter went straight to her room, slamming the door in that way only children can loud. Final. Unknowingly sharp, Claire stood in the kitchen, holding on to the edge of the sink, as if the cold metal could keep her grounded. Her chest felt heavy. Her eyes stung. But she wasn't angry at her daughter. She was angry at herself for being late, for never being enough, for always trying so hard and still feeling like she was failing. She had spent so long pretending to be okay that she didn't even know how to not pretend anymore. But that night, something gave. Claire didn't clean the kitchen. She didn't fold the laundry. She walked to her daughter's room, knocked once, and opened the door. Her daughter was lying on the bed, back turned, arms crossed. Claire sat down at the edge, took a slow breath, and said softly, "I'm tired." Her voice trembled, not from weakness, but from finally telling the truth. I try so hard to do everything right, and sometimes I still get it wrong. I know I let you down today. I know you were scared and maybe embarrassed, and I'm sorry. But I'm also really tired. There was a pause, a long one. And then, without turning around, her daughter whispered, "I just didn't know where you were." Claire nodded, tears quietly falling down her face. "I know. And I should have told you sooner. I should have told you how hard it is to be strong all the time." For the first time, Claire allowed herself to be seen not as a perfect mom, not as someone who had it all together, but as a real, feeling human being. And in that moment, something softened between them. Her daughter didn't say much, but she rolled over, reached for her mom's hand, and held it tight. No blame, no shame, just presence. That night, Claire didn't feel like a failure. She didn't feel like a perfect mother either. She just felt real. And somehow, that was more than enough. The lesson was quiet but clear when we let go of the image we're trying to live up to. We give the people around us a chance to meet who we really are. We stop managing connection and start feeling it. Letting go doesn't mean doing less or caring less. It means releasing the pressure to always perform, always appear unbreakable. It means trusting that love can meet us even in our undone, imperfect moments. And sometimes, it's not the held together version of us that teaches others how to love. Sometimes, it's the one who finally says, "I can't do it all," and chooses, instead, to be honest. So if tonight You feel like you've been holding too much. If your body is tired from carrying all your roles and your heart is sore from pretending to be okay, know that even this breath you're taking now is an act of release. Even this listening is a step toward healing. You don't have to do it all. You never did. And now, let's take a few moments to breathe into that truth together. He came home later than usual that evening. Not because of traffic, but because he needed time to sit alone in his car and breathe before walking through the door. He knew dinner would be on the table. The lights already turned on. Her phone probably in her hand, and the quiet tension of a tired house hanging in the air. He walked in and took off his shoes slowly, placed his bag down like always, trying not to let the weight of the day follow him into the room. She looked up briefly and said, "You're home," then turned her eyes back to the screen. Then after a pause, she added, "You know, we can't keep living like this. Your paycheck isn't enough. We need more." He didn't say anything. Not right away. He stood there for a second, then turned away and walked toward the bedroom. His jaw tight, his breath shallow. A few seconds later, the sound of the door closing echoed through the hallway, not slammed, not loud, but full of something unspoken. She didn't follow him. He sat on the edge of the bed, looking down at his hands, and something inside him sank low, heavy like wet stone. It wasn't just about money, and he knew it. It was about a quiet pain that had built up over time, like drops of water wearing down rock. He thought of all the times he tried taking on extra shifts, fixing things around the house, making sure the car was running, walking their daughter to school in the morning when she was too tired. But somehow, none of that seemed to matter when money entered the room. He didn't yell that night, didn't argue. He brushed his teeth in silence, lay down beside her with his back turned, and closed his eyes without sleeping. The days that followed felt distant. He went to work, answered emails, made small jokes with coworkers, but something in his chest felt out of place, like a drawer that wouldn't quite close. He replayed the words she said again and again, not because they were cruel, but because they touched something inside him he couldn't quite name. On the third evening, he sat at the kitchen table with a pen and a small piece of paper folded from a notebook. He stared at the blank page for a long time before writing anything. And when he did, the words didn't come out angry. They came out quiet, slow, simple. "I know I don't make a lot of money," he wrote, "and I know that makes things harder, but I need you to know that's not why I got upset. I didn't feel mad about the money. I felt like I wasn't good enough. Like nothing I do matters if I don't earn more. And that hurt more than I could explain in the moment." He paused, let the pen rest in his hand, then added, I'm not writing this to blame you. I'm writing it because I want us to understand each other without shouting. He folded the paper gently, placed it in a small envelope, and set it on the counter near her coffee mug. That morning, he left before she woke up. She saw the envelope when she came into the kitchen, sleepy-eyed, hair messy, the kettle still cold. At first, she thought it was a bill. Then she recognized his handwriting. She opened it slowly. Read it once, then again. Her eyes didn't fill with tears right away, but something inside her softened. She sat down, placed her hands on the counter, and exhaled in a way she hadn't in a long time. That evening, when he came home, the lights were warm. The room smelled like ginger tea. She looked up when he walked in. She didn't say, "You're home," like before. Instead, she stood, walked over, and placed her hand gently on his chest. "I read your letter," she said, "and I'm sorry I made you feel that way." He didn't answer right away, just nodded, then wrapped his arms around her waist, letting the silence say the rest. That night, they didn't fix everything, but they sat together a little longer, spoke a little softer, and somewhere in the quiet, they began to find each other again. Not through arguments, not through solutions, but through something far more fragile. Honesty without defense, tenderness without pride. And maybe that was the beginning of a different kind of conversation. One where pain wasn't ignored, but held, not with answers, but with care. Modern life often pulls us in too many directions at once. We juggle work, relationships, responsibilities, and quiet worries we rarely speak aloud. It's easy to believe that suffering only arrives and begs. Dramatic moments, heartbreak, loss, failure. But in the teachings of the Buddha, dukkha is far more subtle. It includes the restlessness of the mind, the unease that lingers after a busy day, the quiet tension of always wanting things to be just a little better. Dukkha is the discomfort of never quite arriving, of feeling like something is missing, even when everything seems fine. In Zen, this suffering is often compared to a cup too full, filled with so many drops of thought, fear, and desire that peace cannot enter. The more we pour in, the more we overflow. But imagine instead an empty bowl placed in the soft grass, still, open, ready to receive rain. The moment we stop adding, we begin to return to ourselves. In everyday life, this might look like saying no to one more task, turning off notifications, choosing quiet over noise, letting a moment simply be what it is, without needing to change it. The path out of suffering doesn't begin with control. It begins with awareness, with noticing the weight we carry and gently putting it down. Not all at once. Not forever. Just for now. Just enough to breathe again. There is a quiet kind of suffering that hides beneath the surface of ambition. The constant need to improve, to be better, to do more. It whispers, "You're not enough yet, but maybe tomorrow." And so we chase the perfect body, the perfect job, the perfect peace. But in the teachings of the Buddha, this endless becoming is a form of dukkha. It's the discomfort of never truly arriving. Zen invites us to pause and look deeper. What if we didn't have to be more awe? What if who we are, right here, right now, was already worthy of rest? In Zen imagery, this longing is like chasing clouds in the sky. You run and run, hoping to catch their softness, but they always drift further away. Yet when you sit still, the sky opens. The clouds come to you. In daily life, this might look like allowing yourself a moment to do nothing without guilt, letting go of the pressure to constantly improve, trusting that your worth is not in what you accomplish, but in your presence, in the sound of your breath, in the quiet beat of your heart. To end suffering is not to achieve perfection, but to stop running just for a little while, just long enough to feel that maybe you are already enough. Even in your tiredness, even in your questions, especially in this stillness. Sometimes suffering isn't loud. It's not crying or breaking or falling apart. Sometimes dukkha is quiet, a dull ache you carry through the day. The weight in your chest when you're alone. The tired smile you offer when someone asks how you're doing. The Buddha spoke of this suffering not to scare us, but to help us see it clearly. Because what we see, we can meet with compassion. Zen teaches that even the mind's softest turbulence, those flickers of doubt, the hum of comparison, the pressure to hold it all together, can be transformed. Imagine a calm lake just before dawn. On the surface, the ripples are small, but underneath, movement stirs. The stillness we seek isn't the absence of waves, but the willingness to sit beside them without fear. In everyday life, this might look like turning inward instead of reaching for distraction, listening to your breath instead of your to-do list, pausing before reacting, letting yourself feel, even just a little. Sometimes healing is not in doing more, but in allowing space for what already is. You don't need to solve yourself tonight. Just sit with what is true, as it is, as you are. In our effort to hold life together, we often hold too tightly. We grip routines, expectations, identities, believing that without them, we might fall apart. But dukkha arises not just from what hurts, but from how tightly we cling. Zen reminds us that peace lives in letting go, not as a one-time act, but as a daily practice. Not a dramatic release, but a soft opening, like autumn leaves falling, not because they failed, but because it is time. Picture a tree shedding its golden leaves, standing bare under the wide sky. There is no resistance, no fear of emptiness, only trust. In your life, letting go might look like forgiving someone who won't apologize, releasing a version of yourself that no longer fits, allowing silence where you once filled every space. The world tells us to keep adding. Zen whispers, subtract, soften, breathe. In the stillness of night, you don't have to carry everything. Let one thing fall away, then another, slowly, kindly. And as you do, notice how much lighter you begin to feel. Not because life got easier, but because you stopped holding so much. The leaf touched the water so gently it was almost reverent. A silent farewell that stirred something inside Laura more than any word ever had. It didn't sink, didn't resist, just floated, turned slowly, and moved with the current. No urgency, no fear, only trust. She watched it drift downstream, its shape growing smaller, softer, until it was no longer visible. Yet its movement echoed inside her, as if a mirror had been placed before her chest, and she was seeing her own reflection for the first time. Not her face, but the quiet truth beneath it. How long had she held on to things that were already gone? The marriage she kept nurturing even after the laughter had left. The version of herself that smiled when she was breaking. The fear of being alone that made her stay. Bend. Strive. Perform. And now, she was watching a dead leaf show her how to let go. The woman beside her didn't say anything more. She didn't need to. The water was speaking in its own language. And for once, Laura was listening. Truly listening. Without judgment. Without planning a response. Without trying to hold the moment in place. She could feel it then. The loosening. Like a knot inside her chest, slowly unwinding. Like a tight fist opening in the dark. And with it came a softness she hadn't felt in years. Not joy. Not yet. But a space where joy might one day return. She took a breath, deeper than the ones before, and noticed how it moved through her like wind through open windows, no longer crashing against locked doors. She thought of how long she had confused effort with worth, holding on with love, control with safety. And now here was a stream, a stranger, a leaf, all reminding her that some things are meant to leave. Some identities, some stories, some dreams. And their departure does not mean she has failed, only that they are no longer alive. You only lose what you cling to. she remembered reading once. And now the words returned, not as a concept, but as a knowing. She had been clinging to a version of herself that was no longer true. The perfect woman who balanced career and home, who never asked for help, who stayed even when her heart quietly left. But she was tired. And in that tiredness, she finally saw the beauty of surrender. Not giving up, not collapse, but the holy art of release, letting the stream carry what no longer needed to be held. Her hands were still by her side, but inside, something had already opened. She didn't cry, didn't speak, just sat there breathing. And with each breath, she felt a little less like she was breaking, a little more like she was returning to something older than expectation, older than image, something soft and unafraid. The stream continued flowing, unbothered by what it carried or left behind. And Laura sat with it, not trying to understand everything, just allowing herself to be part of something that didn't need fixing. For the first time, she felt like she could stop swimming upstream and simply float. Laura is 52 years old. She works in a quiet corner of a logistics company in Minnesota, managing spreadsheets, shipments, and silence. On the outside, she's dependable, known by her colleagues as the one who never drops the ball, and by her family as the big sister who always holds things together. But inside, Laura is tired. Not just the kind of tired that sleep can fix, but the deep, aching kind that settles into the bones. Every morning, she slips on the same old jacket, a faded blue coat with worn cuffs and a tightening fit around the shoulders. It was a birthday gift from her mother many years ago. Her mother has passed, but the jacket remains hanging by the door like a memory that never asks permission to stay. The fabric rubs against her arms now, a little too tight, a little too rough. Yet she wears it anyway, just like she wears the role of being the strong one. She has always been the strong one, the one who listens, solves, rescues, the one who carries. She carries the guilt of her younger brother's failures, the grief of her father's loneliness, the pressure of always showing up. It's as if taking the jacket off, even just for a moment, might make everything fall apart, might make her fall apart. Lately, the world feels heavier. Tasks blur. Conversations drain her. She smiles out of habit. Not joy. There's no big disaster. No dramatic moment. Just a slow, quiet unraveling. A question that visits her in the middle of the night. What if I stop holding it all? She doesn't say it aloud, but the thought lingers, like the weight on her shoulders, like the seams pressing into her skin. Sometimes, it's not the jacket that's too tight. It's the life. One gray afternoon, With her chest feeling tight for no clear reason, Laura wandered into the public library near her office. She didn't come looking for anything. Just quiet. Just a place where no one needed her to be anything. The smell of old pages and polished floors gave her a strange kind of comfort. She found a seat by the window. Not far from an older woman, carefully folding a frayed woolen scarf. The scarf looked worn thin by time edges unraveled. Small holes where the yarn had loosened. Still, the woman's hands moved gently, almost lovingly, as if she were saying goodbye to something that once mattered. Laura glanced over, drawn by the quiet grace of the moment. The woman caught her eyes and smiled, soft and warm. "It's time," the woman said, tucking the scarf into her bag. "It has kept me warm through many winters. But now, I let it go." She paused, then added, almost like a whisper, "When it no longer fits, it's no longer yours." The words landed inside Laura like a small bell ringing in a silent room. She looked down at her own coat, the one squeezing her arms, and thought of the roles she wore: big sister, fixer, silent sufferer. All those things she held on to, not because they still fit, but because she didn't know how to let go. The woman had so little, just a scarf, a bag, a smile, but seemed so light. Laura had more, yet carried the weight of everything. And for the first time in years, she wondered if maybe the weight wasn't hers anymore. Something shifted in Laura after that quiet moment at the library. Not in a dramatic way, just a soft, slow turning like a door she hadn't noticed before. Creaking slightly open, she found herself thinking about the woman with the scarf more often than she expected. Not just her words, but her calm, her ease, the way she folded something old with gratitude and let it go without grief. Days passed, but the feeling stayed. Laura began to look around her life with new eyes. At first, it was the coat. That morning, as she slipped it on, she noticed how she held her breath just to fasten the zipper. How the tightness didn't just press against her skin, but against her spirit. She wore it anyway, but something inside whispered, "Why?" Then, she noticed the phrases she repeated without question. "I have to be strong. They need me. I should set a good example." Old lines sewn into her like threads, pulling tighter each time someone leaned on her. She thought about how tired she felt, not from doing too much, but from carrying what no longer belonged to her. At dinner with her family, when her brother complained again about his life, she almost spoke, then stopped. She simply listened, not out of duty, but with quiet awareness. That night, she felt a little more space inside, A little more breath. You only lose what you cling to. She read that line in a small Zen book she found tucked between cookbooks at the library. It made her pause, not out of fear, but recognition. What if the things she feared losing were already gone? What if they were never really hers to begin with? Sometimes, letting go isn't about loss. It's about choosing to live where there is room to breathe. Close your eyes and take a slow, gentle breath. Imagine yourself standing in a quiet, sunlit room. You are wearing a coat familiar, but too tight now. The sleeves cling to your arms. The shoulders press in. The weight of it is subtle, but constant. With your next breath, bring your attention to the moment you begin to remove it. One arm slips out, then the other. The collar brushes your skin as it falls away. You feel the difference immediately. A softness where there was pressure. Space where there was holding. Just notice. Stay with that feeling. And now, gently, turn your awareness inward. Beneath the coat, there are other layers. Words once spoken to you. Be strong. Be responsible. Don't let anyone down. These too have settled on your shoulders like fabric. Titles, expectations, roles you've worn for so long. They've become part of your skin. But not everything that fits once still fits now. With each breath, imagine peeling back one more layer. Not tearing it off, just loosening. A role, a story, a pressure you didn't choose. With every exhale, let something soften. Let something release. Feel what it's like to exist without needing to carry it all. You're still here, still whole, still safe. Let the quiet hold you now. Let your breath remind you this moment is enough. No weight, no labels, just you. Resting in the gentle space where nothing has to be proven. Stay there for a while. And if the layers return tomorrow, that's okay. You'll remember how it feels to breathe free. Time didn't change everything. Laura still lives in the same small apartment with the creaky floorboards and quiet kitchen. She still wakes up early, still makes the same coffee with just a little too much cream. She still walks to the bus stop every morning, sits at her desk at the logistics company, replies to emails, solves problems, signs papers. On the surface, not much is different. But inside, there's space now. A little more breath between thoughts. A little more ease in her chest. The old coat is gone. One afternoon, without ceremony, she folded it gently, placed it in a cardboard box, and left it at the donation center down the street. She didn't cry. She didn't hesitate. She just smiled. Quietly, and walked away. That night, she noticed how freely her arms moved. Not just her body, but her being. She's still the older sister, still the one people call when something breaks. But now, she listens without rushing to fix. She helps without needing to save. She no longer believes that her worth is measured by how much she can carry. Some days, the old patterns return a knot in her stomach. The urge to say yes when she means no. But she notices them now. She breathes. She chooses. Laura has learned that happiness doesn't always come from having more, doing more, proving more. Sometimes it comes quietly when we decide something has done its part, when we say thank you and let it go. Sometimes it's not about adding anything at all, but knowing when something has served its time, when we no longer need it to feel whole. She walks a little lighter now, smiles a little softer, and every so often, when she finds herself gripping too tightly again, she returns to that question. What are you still carrying that no longer fits? Sometimes, late at night, you may wonder, who am I? Really? Not your name, not your job, not your memories, just you. But the more you try to define it, the more it slips through your fingers, like trying to hold water in your hands. In Zen, we learn there is no fixed the self is not a solid thing. It's a flowing river of experiences, thoughts, emotions, always shifting, always moving. The idea that there is one unchanging identity weighing us down with labels and roles is just a thought, a belief we've repeated too often. Imagine sitting beside a river at dusk. The water moves softly. It reflects the sky, the moon, the trees, but it never holds one shape for long. Can you point to a single drop and say, that's the river? No, the river is not any one thing. It is movement. So are you. In daily life, this means we don't have to hold so tightly to the stories we've been told about ourselves. You don't have to be the strong one forever. You don't have to live in fear of changing. Who you were last year, even yesterday, was just a moment in the flow. When we stop clinging to a fixed identity, a quiet kind of freedom appears. We can soften, we can evolve, and maybe we can finally rest. Have you ever worn a role for so long that you forgot you were acting? Maybe the caregiver, the overachiever, the one who always smiles. These roles become second skin until one day they start to chafe. You feel tired, but you don't know why. Zen reminds us, the self is not one thing. It is not a fixed mask. What we think of as me is like clothing. We put it on. We take it off. But none of it is truly who we are. Underneath all the roles, there is spaciousness. Picture an actor stepping off stage after a long performance. They remove the costume, wipe the makeup, exhale deeply. For a moment, there is silence. No audience, no character, just breath, presence. That, too, is you when all roles fall away. In real life, this can begin gently. Notice when you say yes just to keep the peace. Notice when you hold back tears to be the brave one. Then, breathe. Ask softly, is this who I am? Or just who I've been asked to be? The answer may surprise you. You don't need to abandon your life. Just loosen the grip. Try wearing your roles like soft fabric, not heavy armor. Let them move with you, not bind you. Beneath them, you'll find something lighter, something open, a self not defined, but alive. There's a deep kind of suffering that comes when we take everything personally, when we feel responsible for how others think, feel, or respond. When the world feels like it's always revolving around me, what I did, what they said to me, what I should have done better. But in the Zen way, we learn the self is not the center. Life is not a stage built for our story alone. Everything is interconnected, like threads in a vast web. The tighter we cling to the more tangled we become. Imagine a leaf floating on a gentle stream. It doesn't try to direct the current. It doesn't ask, why is the water flowing this way? It simply moves, carried by something larger. When we release the need to control, to be seen a certain way, to be right, we float. In practice, this means we can let go of being the hero, the victim, or the fixer, not out of weakness, but out of clarity. You don't have to correct every misunderstanding. You don't have to win every argument. You can step back. Let it be. Not everything is about you, and that is a relief. When I no longer takes up all the space, life becomes spacious again. You hear more, feel more, breathe more, and in that openness, there is peace. Some nights, the heaviness comes not from what happened, but from who we think we must be. Strong, perfect, worthy. We carry this image of ourselves so tightly, afraid that if we let go, we'll disappear. But Zen invites us to try. What if the self you've built is not a prison, but a door you can open? The teaching is simple. There is no solid I to protect, no self to defend. What we call me is just the meeting point of causes and conditions. Like a cloud, formed by wind, moisture, and light beautiful, but never graspable. Imagine a bird flying across the open sky. It leaves no trail. It doesn't worry about proving itself. It simply moves, moment by moment. That freedom is available to us. 2. When we stop trying to hold a shape. In daily life, this looks like softness. Saying, "I don't know," without shame. Letting someone else lead. Allowing emotions to pass through without labeling them. You don't need to always be the version of you others expect. You don't even need to be the version you expect. When we release the need to be someone, we become everything. The wind, the silence, the stillness between thoughts. And in that stillness, we are free. Let yourself dissolve a little tonight. Let the I rest. There's nowhere to go, nothing to prove, only this breath and the space it opens. You don't have to prove anything right now. Not to anyone, not even to yourself. This moment isn't asking you to be right, or strong, or clear. It's simply offering you a quiet space to rest. So if you are listening, perhaps it means you've been holding something for too long. Maybe a pressure to always be composed, always prepared, always on guard, but not here, not now. Right now, you are safe to let that go. Let the air in the room meet you exactly as you are, with nothing more to fix or defend. Begin by noticing your breath, not changing it, just noticing it. Is it shallow or deep? Soft or uneven? However it comes, allow it. Let it move through you like a gentle tide. And as you settle into stillness, bring your attention to the center of your chest, to the space just behind your breastbone. Often, when we feel the need to prove ourselves, we carry that weight here, a tightness, a shield, a readiness to defend. See if you can feel into that area now. Maybe it's holding a tension you didn't even notice until this moment. Maybe it feels heavy or guarded. Just observe it without judgment. And now, gently invite that space to soften. You don't need to push or force it. Just the soft suggestion you can let this go. Imagine a warmth in your chest, like soft light expanding from the center, loosening what was tight, melting what was rigid. Let that warmth travel upward to your shoulders. We often carry the burden of needing to be right, or strong, or respected, and it sits heavy on our shoulders like a weight we've forgotten how to put down. Take a moment now to release that weight. Picture your shoulders dropping just a little, the muscles softening as if they've been given permission to rest. And they have. This is your permission. Allow gravity to help you now. There is nothing you need to hold up anymore. With each breath out, imagine the tension melting downward, out of your body, into the ground beneath you. And if thoughts come, thoughts about moments where you felt unheard, where you tried to prove yourself and it didn't land, let them pass through like birds in the sky. You don't need to chase them or explain them. Just see them and let them drift. No reaction is needed now, only awareness. And now, say to yourself gently, inside your mind, I don't have to prove anything right now. I am allowed to rest. My worth is not measured by how well I argue or explain. I can release the need to be right. I can be exactly as I am. Even if no one understands me, I still belong. Even if I don't speak, I still have value. Let these words sink in, like soft rain soaking into the ground. You don't have to hold your truth like a sword anymore. You can simply live it. Quietly, peacefully, and now feel your body again. The weight of your head, the softness of your jaw. Let your arms rest beside you. Let your belly be soft. Let this moment be simple. Nothing to perform. No one to impress. You are safe. You are whole. You are already enough. And if sleep is near, let it come gently. You don't need to do anything to earn it. Not tonight. Just allow it to wrap around you like a warm blanket. Let your breath become slower now, softer, less needing to go anywhere. Say goodbye to the thoughts for now. They'll be there tomorrow if you still need them. But for now, you can let them fade. You've said enough. You've tried enough. Now it is time to rest and simply be. Sometimes we carry a quiet ache that's hard to name. It doesn't always shout, but it stays with us, like a soft voice asking, am I doing enough? Am I enough? If you've ever felt that subtle tension, that urge to hold yourself together even when no one is looking, then tonight, this space is for you. You don't need to fix or change anything right now. You don't need to rise to any standard. There is nothing to become and no one to impress. There is only this breath and this moment and the quiet truth that you're already here, still breathing, still trying, still human, and maybe that's already enough. Now, gently let your eyes soften or close completely if that feels right to you. Allow your shoulders to drop just a little and take a breath in. Not a big breath, just enough to notice you're alive. And as you breathe out, feel the permission to let something go. We'll begin with a simple image. Picture yourself standing near a calm lake at dusk. No one is around, just you. The surface of the water is smooth, like glass, reflecting the sky in soft purples and grays. You're holding a small stone in your hand, close to your chest. This stone carries the weight of not being enough, of always trying, always proving, always pushing through the doubt. Feel its weight, not to judge it, but to witness it, to acknowledge that this feeling has lived in you for some time. Now look at the water again. Notice how still it is. And gently, when you're ready, let the stone drop into the lake. Watch the ripples move outward, slow, wide, until they fade. Nothing breaks, nothing shatters, just a quiet letting go. And now, feel your breath again. Feel how your chest rises and falls, how your belly moves. Even in your most uncertain moments, your breath has never left you. It keeps showing up, like you. Even when you don't feel perfect, you keep showing up. Let's sit with that for a moment. Not being perfect, and still being here. Now gently bring your attention to the thoughts that come and go. Maybe a voice says, "You should have done more today." Maybe it brings up that one thing you forgot or wish you'd said better. Just notice that voice. It is not the enemy. It's only one part of your mind, trying to keep you safe. But you are more than that voice. You are the awareness that hears it. And tonight, that awareness is choosing kindness. Return now to your body. Feel the shape of your body wherever you're resting. Feel the weight of it being held by the bed or the floor or the couch. Feel the outline of your hands, your legs, your back. You don't have to understand every feeling tonight. You don't have to solve anything. Just allow your body to be here, supported, trusted, alive. Now quietly say to yourself, maybe I don't need to be perfect to be enough. Maybe I can rest even with unanswered questions. Maybe I'm not broken, just human. And maybe that is already more than enough. Take one more gentle breath in and breathe out slowly. Let everything soften. The need to be right, the tension in your chest, the thoughts trying to push through. For the next few moments, you don't need to try. You don't need to hold yourself up. Let your body do what it knows how to do. Rest. Drift. Let go. Imagine you're floating now. Not up, but in. Deeper into yourself. Into silence. Into something steady and kind. Your breath becomes slower. Your heart quieter. The voice of not enough becomes a whisper. And then, even that fades. You are safe now. You are loved. You are here. And you can rest. Now close your eyes. Let your hands settle softly. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Allow the breath to come as it is. No need to change it. Just feel it arrive and feel it leave. In your mind's eye, imagine a leaf, a simple green leaf resting on a branch after the rain. The storm has passed, and everything around is still. The wind has quieted. The world is wet and hushed. On the tip of this leaf, a single droplet of water clings. It has been holding on for a long time. Heavy, round, trembling at the edge. It does not rush to fall. It just stays there, waiting, breathing. You are that leaf, held in place, still rooted, but with something heavy hanging on. Feel the weight of that droplet. Not painful, just present. A small burden that you've carried quietly, without words. Maybe it is the pressure to be strong, the need to hold it all together. Maybe it is sadness. Maybe it is simply tiredness that has no name. Whatever it is, you don't have to push it away. Just feel it. The droplet does not fall with force. It lets go. Slowly, naturally, pulled only by gravity, by life itself. And when it falls, the leaf feels lighter, not because the storm has disappeared, but because it no longer needs to hold on. Let yourself be the leaf in this moment, and let whatever droplet you've been holding release softly, quietly, with no rush, no effort, just permission. Breathe in gently and breathe out slowly, again and again, like the rhythm of nature after the rain. You are safe here. There is nothing to fix, nothing to prove, only this breath, this moment, this quiet space where you are allowed to simply be, just like Amanda, sitting on that floor, no longer running, no longer pretending, and just like that droplet, when you are ready, let go. There are nights when you feel torn between trying harder and giving up, between pushing through the pain or letting it all fall. But Zen offers something gentler, the middle way, a path that asks neither for struggle nor surrender, but presence. The Buddha discovered that truth does not live in extremes, not in harsh control, not in careless indulgence, but in balance, a place where each breath is enough. Imagine walking on a path that winds softly through a forest. On one side, sharp stones. On the other, deep mud. But your feet find the space in between. Firm, kind, clear. In daily life, this might mean resting when you're tired. Instead of proving you're strong, eating with care, not guilt, saying no without fear, It's not about perfection. It's about not abandoning yourself. You don't have to be the best version of anything tonight. Just the truest. Just here. Breathing. Walking gently in the middle. Sometimes, in the effort to be good, we go too far. We try to control every thought, fix every flaw, become someone others will approve of. But Zen reminds us, this is not peace. This is pressure. The middle way is not about becoming ideal. It's about being real, not pulled too far by desires, and not trapped by rules. Just awake, just kind. Think of a tightrope walker. If they lean too far left, they fall. Too far right, they fall. But when they find center, just enough tension, just enough looseness, they glide. In everyday moments, this could be letting yourself rest without guilt, laughing even when the house is messy, speaking gently, even to yourself. You don't need to choose between being perfect and falling apart. In the middle, there's space. In the middle, there's peace. We often think life is a contest of success, image, worth. We try to be more, prove more, shine brighter. Or, when tired, we swing the other way, letting go of care, hiding in numbness. But Zen whispers, you are not here to win or lose. You are here to live. The middle way lets us step out of the game, to see that the self we're defending isn't solid. It changes with moods, moments, memory. Like clouds forming and dissolving in the sky. Picture a bird gliding on open wind, not flapping frantically, not falling aimlessly, just sensing, adjusting, trusting space. In your life, this could look like not needing to always be right, or not needing to always disappear. Let yourself respond, not react. Move, not rush. Choose, not escape. Let go of being someone. Just be. Sometimes, we believe freedom comes from doing whatever we want. Other times, we believe it comes from controlling everything we feel. But both are cages, in different shapes. The middle way opens a quiet door between them. Freedom, in Zen, is not about escaping life. It's about meeting it as it is. Not too tight, not too loose, just right. Imagine holding a small bird in your hands. If you grip too hard, you harm it. If you open too wide, it flies away. But if your hands are gentle, present, the bird stays. So too with your thoughts, your habits, your sense of self. In practice, it's allowing a craving to pass without shame. It's pausing before reacting. It's making space for joy, without fearing you'll lose it. Tonight, You don't have to choose extremes. You can simply rest in the middle and find that it's enough. Imagine for a moment that you are a still lake, tucked deep within a forest, quiet and untouched. But beneath the surface, waves have been stirring for so long that you no longer notice the motion, the constant swirling beneath. You've grown so used to the turbulence that it feels like your natural state. The surface may seem calm to others, even to yourself on some day, but below, currents push and pull, shaping your every moment. It's only when the winds begin to settle, when the ripples slow and the light softens, that you start to see clearly. And for the first time in a long while, the bottom of the lake reveals itself layers of forgotten emotions, old wounds, silent struggles, all resting gently in the deep. You begin to realize the chaos wasn't coming from the world outside, but from the waters within, asking to be seen, not judged, just noticed. Or picture yourself as a cup, smooth and simple, meant to hold only so much, but drop by drop, more and more is poured in worries, responsibilities, regrets, the weight of things left unsaid, the exhaustion of pretending you're fine and still you try to hold it all, telling yourself this is what life demands, until one day the cup overflows, not with a dramatic crash, but with a quiet spill, unnoticed by others, maybe even by yourself. The water drips down your hands, leaving a trail you don't quite understand. And you wonder why everything feels too much, too heavy, too fragile. And then something pauses inside you. A breath, a small stillness. You set the cup down. You stop pouring, and you watch as the overflow slowly begins to dry, as the cup settles into its own shape again. In Zen practice, we learn not to fear this moment, but to meet it with presence. Suffering often hides beneath movement or constant doing, striving, distracting, and when we finally become still, the truth gently rises, not to hurt us, but to offer clarity. So let yourself be the lake returning to calm, the cup resting empty for a while. Notice the weight you've carried without realizing. Feel the ache that's been speaking in whispers. This is not a failure. It is the beginning of seeing. And once you see clearly, you can begin to care for yourself differently, not by fixing or fighting, but by simply being with what is. Let the waves settle. Let the water be still. Let yourself see what's been waiting quietly beneath. Throughout your day, there are quiet moments, simple, ordinary pauses where you can begin to check in with yourself. Gently, without pressure or expectation. Maybe you're sitting in traffic, your hands gripping the wheel a little tighter than they need to. Your jaw clenched without realizing. What would it feel like to loosen your grip? Just a little. And ask yourself softly, am I tired? Am I holding more than I need to? Or maybe it's late at night and you can't sleep. Your mind replaying the same thoughts, looping through worries you can't solve right now, instead of fighting it. What if you simply placed a hand over your chest and asked, what am I carrying tonight? Even while washing dishes, standing over warm water and the sound of running tap, you might notice your breath shallow, hurried, and pause to ask, have I been rushing through this whole day without pausing once to feel? You don't have to fix anything in these moments. You don't have to have the answers. Just notice. Notice if you're pushing yourself to appear fine when you're not. If you're telling yourself to be strong when what you really need is rest. Notice the tightness in your chest, the heaviness behind your eyes, the way you keep saying, I'm okay, without checking if it's true. These small, quiet acts of self-awareness are not small at all. They are the beginning of healing. It's not about dramatic change or grand solutions. It's about learning to listen. Gently, patiently, without judgment. Maybe this evening, instead of reaching for your phone or distracting yourself, you sit for just a moment with your own heart and ask, what is it like to be me right now? That's enough. That's more than enough. In Zen, presence is a kind of compassion. When we stop to notice our suffering, however quiet, however hidden, we begin to soften the grip it has on us. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whether you feel broken or just a little off, pause, breathe, be here with yourself. You don't have to fix it tonight, just notice. And in that noticing, something inside you may begin to exhale. Some nights, your mind won't stop running. Thoughts arrive like waves, crashing without rhythm. You feel restless, but you don't know why. The mind feels noisy, without a clear cause. But in Zen, we learn nothing arises on its own. Not even a busy mind. The busy mind is not a flaw, it is a result. A result of conditions, habits, environments, like everything else. It is born from causes. Imagine a field of wild grass, stirred by a sudden wind. The movement is not the field's fault. The wind passes through and leaves. In your own life, this means you can soften. You don't need to fight the thoughts. You only need to ask gently, where did this come from? Was it too much stimulation? A conversation that left residue? An old pattern resurfacing? Understanding the cause. is the beginning of freedom. Sometimes, you catch yourself scrolling for hours or replaying the same anxious thought again and again. It feels automatic. But Zen reminds us, nothing is truly automatic. Even habits were once choices, repeated often enough to become invisible. This is the heart of dependent arising. What we water grows. What we repeat returns. Imagine a path through tall grass. If you walk it every day, the grass flattens. A road appears. But if you stop walking it, the grass will rise again. New paths will form. In daily life, this means you are not trapped by your habits. Even a restless mind is not fixed. You can begin again, gently. Choose silence over noise, a pause instead of a reaction. One small shift at a time. Peace, too, is a habit. It just begins smaller. At night, when the world grows quiet, the mind sometimes grows louder. Every thought feels important. Every worry demands attention. But not all noise is truth. Zen teaches us that thoughts arise from causes, old emotions, external stress, subtle conditioning. They are not always wisdom. Often, they are echoes. Imagine being in a cave and shouting once. The echo bounces back again and again. The sound feels alive, but it is just repetition. In practice, this means we don't need to believe every thought. We can watch them come and go, like clouds drifting across a dark sky. We can notice which ones stir pain and trace them back gently without judgment. Some thoughts are just echoes of old winds. You can choose not to follow them. You may wonder, why can't I feel calm? Even when things seem fine, the heart feels unsettled. But calm doesn't come from silence. Outside, it comes from understanding within. Zen points to inner being. Nothing exists alone. Our inner storms come from connections, some helpful, some harmful. To heal, we must see what feeds the storm. Imagine a fire burning in a quiet room. It didn't start itself. Someone added fuel. Step by step. In your life, that fuel could be certain conversations, a toxic rhythm, an unnoticed comparison. When you see what feeds the fire, you don't need to fight it. You just stop adding wood. Tonight, breathe slowly. Look gently. You may find that the path to peace is not to do more, but to release what no longer serves. Now close your eyes. Feel the quiet returning to your body, like the hush of early morning before the city wakes. Imagine you are sitting in a small room, the lights soft, the air still. In front of you is a bowl of warm white rice. Beside it, a cup of cool, clear water. Your hands rest gently in your lap. You breathe in slowly and breathe out gently again and again, letting the breath become slower, softer, like the waves of the ocean, coming and going without effort. Now lift the bowl in your hands. Feel its warmth. Notice its weight. This is enough. Right here, this simple moment, breathe in and let yourself arrive fully in the stillness. Then pick up a small spoonful of rice. Bring it to your lips. Place it on your tongue and chew slowly. Slowly. Feel each grain, each soft texture pressing gently into your awareness. Warm, grounding, whole, no flavors screaming for attention, only simplicity and peace. Breathe in and taste the earth, the rain, the hands that planted, harvested, carried this rice into your life. As you chew, feel the journey of this grain, how far it came to be here, and how quiet it is, resting now in your care. This, too, is nourishment, not only for the body, but for the soul. You don't need to prove anything to receive it. You don't need to be impressive to be worthy of it. You are here, and that is enough. Take a sip of the cool water. Hold it gently in your mouth. Let it touch every corner before it slips down your throat. Imagine this water coming from a deep mountain stream. Fresh, ancient, unhurried. As you swallow, feel its purity moving through you, washing away the noise, the pressure, the constant need to be more, do more, create more, and in its place, silence. Now, breathe in deeply. Feel the space you are in. Quiet, safe, whole. Let your shoulders drop. Your hands relax. Your jaw softens. You are no longer carrying the kitchen with you. No more knives. No more critics. No more fire. Only this moment. A bowl of rice. A cup of water. And you. Breathing. Just breathing. With each breath, release one expectation. With each breath, let go of one old pressure, one story about who you had to be. And in the space that remains, notice what rises. Maybe it's peace. Maybe it's sadness. Maybe it's nothing at all. And that, too, is welcome. You are not here to impress anyone. You are not here to dazzle or perform. You are here to eat this meal, to feel its warmth, to feel your own heartbeat, steady, kind, present, to remember that joy can be quiet, that healing can be small, that love can live in a single spoon of rice. Stay here a little longer, breathing, tasting, being knowing that nothing more is needed. This is your sacred moment, and it belongs only to you. There are nights when the weariness runs deeper than your bones, when it's not just your body that aches, but your thoughts that feel heavy. You've done your best, kept the wheels turning, held things together, and still, peace feels distant. Zen whispers a gentle truth. Not everything needs to happen right now. Not every burden belongs to you. In the Eightfold Path, right effort and right livelihood don't ask us to do more. They invite us to do what matters. With wisdom, not with weariness. Picture a gardener tending a tree. She doesn't flood it with water or cut every branch in one day. She observes. She learns its rhythm. Then she acts mindfully. When the moment is ripe, and only as much as needed. In your life, that might look like pausing before saying yes, resting before exhaustion arrives, letting go of urgency, whispering to yourself, "This can wait." Mindfulness is not passivity. It is choosing your steps with care and knowing when to stop walking. Peace isn't found in endless doing. It's found in knowing when you've done enough. In a world that glorifies hustle and treats stillness as laziness, choosing simplicity feels almost defiant. You may wonder if you're falling behind, if you're doing enough. But Zen reminds us, enough is a sacred boundary. Through right effort, we learn to release the constant striving. Effort, in itself, is not the problem. It's effort without awareness, effort fueled by fear that drains us. Picture a candle burning in a quiet room. Light too many at once, and the heat overwhelms. But one steady flame, tended with care, brings calm illumination. In daily life, simplicity might mean focusing on one task at a time, washing a dish and feeling the warmth of the water, writing a message and truly meaning each word, living your day not like a whirlwind but like a flowing stream. Simplicity isn't about doing less of what matters. It's about releasing what doesn't. Let this evening remind you, it's okay to slow down. It's okay to pause. The stars take their time, and still, they shine. Sometimes we overextend because we're uncertain. We add more. We push harder, hoping that sheer effort will bring meaning or clarity. But Zen shows us another way. The path of presence, right livelihood, and right effort remind us that what we do holds value when we show up fully, not just with energy, but with intention. Imagine playing an instrument. Pressing every key quickly won't create music. It's the right note, played at the right time, with the right touch that brings harmony. In life, this means asking, am I doing this from a grounded place or from pressure? Is this act fulfilling or depleting? You might discover that fewer, more intentional choices bring greater peace than a packed agenda ever could. So tonight, breathe. Release the tasks driven by fear. Keep the ones rooted in care. You weren't made to carry everything. You are here to do what truly matters, and then to rest. Some days pass in a blur. You eat, but don't really taste. You work, but feel detached. You check off tasks, but forget why they mattered. By nightfall, your body is worn out, but your spirit still feels untouched. Zen gently brings you back through right mindfulness and right effort. We are invited to return not to busyness, but to presence. Imagine pouring tea into a cup. If you rush, it overflows. But if you pour slowly, just right, the cup fills. The scent rises, and even this simple act becomes a moment of peace. Presence can begin anywhere. Folding clothes with awareness. Walking without distractions. Taking a breath before replying to a message. It's not about slowing down for the sake of it. It's about being where you are. And when you return to the here and now, something shifts. The smallest task feels whole. The quietest moment becomes enough. So tonight, let your final gesture, turning off the lights, closing your eyes, be done gently. Nothing more is needed. You are here completely. You've tried so hard to keep everything just right. The right job, the right image, the right relationships. But some nights, even when everything seems to be in place, your heart still feels heavy. Maybe it's not about what you're missing. Maybe it's about what you're holding too tightly. Zen teaches us that everything is empty, not in a sad or meaningless way, but in the sense that nothing has a permanent, fixed essence. All things arise because of causes and conditions. When those conditions change, so does the thing itself. A friendship may feel different after time passes. Your own sense of self may shift as you grow. That doesn't mean anything is broken. It means everything is alive. Picture a handful of sand. When you try to hold it too tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you open your hand gently, the sand can rest there, still and calm. In the same way, life isn't something to grasp. It's something to meet, moment by moment. In your daily life, this may mean allowing a plan to change without blaming yourself, letting someone be who they are instead of who you wish they'd become, trusting that you don't need to control everything for things to be okay. You don't have to hold the sky in place for the stars to shine. You don't have to chase stillness for it to find you. Tonight, as you breathe in and out, let your shoulders drop. Let the stories soften. Let everything be just as it is, without needing it to stay that way. The wind comes, the wind goes, and you are still here, still breathing, still whole. Matu. The weight you carry isn't from what's happening now, but from what you thought should have lasted forever. A role, a love, a version of yourself you no longer feel at home in, and yet we hold on out of habit, out of fear. But Zen gently reminds us everything that arises also fades. Not because it failed, but because that is the way of things. When a leaf turns golden and falls from the branch, the tree does not mourn. It simply makes space for what comes next. The nature of emptiness is not cold. It is compassionate. It frees us from clinging to what must change. Imagine you are standing by a stream. The water flows gently. You try to grab it, but the moment it touches your hands, it moves on. You can't keep the same drop twice, but you can rest beside it. Watch it. Feel its coolness. In your everyday life, this may look like releasing the idea that you must always be strong, or letting go of the belief that your value depends on being perfect. It's okay to change. It's okay to let things go. You are not failing. You are flowing. As you settle into sleep tonight, breathe into that soft truth. What passes does not take away your wholeness. What shifts does not shake your worth. You are not here to keep everything still. You are here to move gently with life. There are days when your thoughts spiral fast, trying to fix everything at once, trying to answer every question, trying to secure every uncertain thing. And yet, no matter how hard you try, peace feels far away. What if peace isn't something you earn by solving everything? What if peace is what remains when you stop trying to hold everything still? Zen speaks of emptiness not as a void, but as openness, a space where possibilities can breathe. When we realize nothing has a fixed self, not even our own mind, we stop taking every thought as truth. We stop believing that what we feel right now is who we are forever. Picture the sky. Clouds pass through it. Storms come and go. But the sky itself remains unbroken. Your mind is that sky. Thoughts, like clouds, are just passing guests. You don't need to chase them or fight them. Just notice and let them pass. In your daily life, you can practice this by pausing before reacting, noticing when you want to fix something immediately, and instead taking a breath, asking gently, "Is this mine to hold?" Not everything needs to be carried. Not every thought needs to be followed. Tonight, lie back and feel your mind like open sky. Let the clouds drift. Let the air move. There's nothing wrong with movement. There's nothing broken in you. You are spacious and free. You may have been taught to keep things together, to be the one who remembers, who organizes, who keeps everyone safe. There's tenderness in that, and also, sometimes, exhaustion. Because the truth is, nothing stays the same. People grow. Plans fall apart. Even you are changing. Moment to moment. Zen invites us to look deeper, to see that everything exists not by itself, but through conditions. When the conditions change, the thing itself dissolves. Like a flame that needs both oxygen and fuel, remove one, and it disappears. This isn't a law. It's a reminder. Nothing truly belongs to us. We're just here to witness, to love, and to let go when it's time. Imagine you're holding a bird in your hands. Gently, carefully. But it's not yours to keep. The most loving thing is to let it fly when it's ready. So it is with everything, experiences, emotions, even the you of yesterday. In your everyday life, this wisdom becomes a kind of ease. You stop blaming yourself when things don't stay. You stop forcing yourself to hold everything. You learn to live with a lighter grip. Tonight, let that gentleness wrap around you. Let your breath soften. Let your mind loosen its grip on the day. You don't have to hold the bird. You only need to open your hand. Let what's meant to stay. Stay. Let what's ready to fly. Fly. You are not empty. You are spacious. And in that space, there is deep, quiet peace. There is a quiet kind of exhaustion that comes not from doing too much, but from holding on too tightly. We try to manage every detail, plan every outcome, shape every emotion into something neat and manageable. We try to be the strong one, the calm one, the one who always knows what to do. We carry a mental checklist at all times, fixing this, controlling that, keeping it all together. Even our thoughts become tight. Even our breathing feels shallow. And yet, underneath all that effort, there is a longing to stop, a longing to exhale. But we don't let ourselves. We tell ourselves that if we stop, everything will fall apart. If we rest, we'll lose ground. If we don't stay in control, something will slip through our fingers. So we keep going. We grip harder. We try to manage people, outcomes, feelings, even time itself. But somewhere along the way, we start to feel like we're disappearing, like we're spending all our energy holding up walls that no longer need to be held. And the question arises, softly, gently. What if letting go doesn't mean giving up, but finally resting? What if there is a way to stop without falling? A way to release without losing who we are? Maybe letting go isn't a weakness. Maybe it's wisdom. Maybe it's the moment we finally realize we were never meant to control everything. We were meant to feel, to trust, to breathe, and maybe to rest. When we begin to feel how heavy everything has become, it helps to ask, what am I holding that was never mine to carry? In Buddhist teaching, the idea of letting go is not about giving up. It is not about turning cold or walking away from life. Letting go means softening. It means opening our hands, our hearts, and our expectations. It means allowing things to be as they are, even when they are not what we hope for. The Buddha said, "Let go of what is not yours to carry." And in this simple teaching is great peace. We often carry other people's pain, their judgments, their choices. We carry old versions of ourselves that no longer fit. We carry the past, trying to change it. We carry the future, trying to control it. But when we try to hold everything, we leave no room for life to move naturally. Letting go is not about walking away. It's about staying present without the fight. It is trusting that we can meet each moment with care without needing to force it. It is knowing that love does not require control. That peace does not grow from fear. That sometimes the kindest thing we can do for ourselves is to stop gripping so hard. When we release what does not serve us, we begin to feel space again. Space to breathe. Space to see clearly. Space to live. Not as a reaction, but as a gentle response. Not with tension, but with trust. Now that you've understood the meaning of letting go, let's feel it with your body and your breath. Close your eyes if you'd like, or simply soften your gaze. Take a gentle breath in and slowly breathe out. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Let your jaw loosen. Let your hands rest naturally. You don't have to do anything right now. Just allow yourself to be. Now, imagine you are sitting in a small wooden boat. The sky above you is soft and open. The lake around you is quiet, like glass. For a while, you were rowing, gently, steadily, trying to steer, trying to move forward, maybe even trying to fight the current. But now, you place the oars beside you. You stop rowing. The boat does not sink. The world does not fall apart. It simply drifts, quietly, calmly, slowly. There is no need to force anything. Just notice how it feels to be carried. Now, bring your attention to your hands. Imagine you're holding something there. It could be a stone, a memory, a worry, a name, a weight you've been carrying, perhaps without even realizing. Notice how tightly your fingers wrap around it. Notice the tension in your hand, in your wrist, in your arm. And now, slowly, gently, imagine your hand opening, finger by finger. No rush, no judgment, just a soft release. The object slips from your palm. It doesn't break. It doesn't make a sound. It simply falls like a feather, like a leaf, drifting down until it disappears. Stay with that feeling. The moment after you let go, the way your hand feels now, empty, but light, still, but soft. There is a peace that lives in that space, a kind of freedom that only comes when we stop grasping. Not because we don't care, but because we care more about peace than perfection, more about love than control, more about presence than performance. Now, take a breath again, a breath that belongs only to you. Feel it move in, feel it leave gently. Let yourself be held by the rhythm. Nothing to fix, nothing to chase. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are just here, in this quiet moment, learning to soften, learning to release, learning to trust. The boat keeps drifting. The sky remains wide, and your hands, now free, rest by your side. As you return to the rhythm of your everyday life, remember that letting go isn't only something we do in stillness. It's something we can practice in the small, quiet choices of each day. You don't need to change everything overnight. You don't have to let go of the biggest weight all at once. Sometimes, peace begins with a single, soft release. Something small, something doable. So maybe tomorrow, you let one plan be imperfect. Maybe the meal doesn't have to be just right. Maybe the meeting doesn't have to be flawless. Let it be good enough. Let it be human. Or maybe you let go of the need to be understood. Perhaps someone misunderstood your words, or didn't reply, or didn't say sorry. You can still choose peace. You can still breathe. You can still rest without needing to control how others respond. Or perhaps you simply notice a difficult feeling when it shows up. The tightness in your chest, the heat in your stomach, the restless thoughts. And instead of fighting them, you breathe with them. Just for a moment, you soften your shoulders. You say to yourself, "This is here. I can feel this and still be okay." Letting go doesn't always look like a grand gesture. Often, it's quiet. Often, no one else even sees it. But your body feels it. Your breath feels it. Your heart feels it. And slowly, those small releases become a way of life, a gentle path, a healing rhythm. So tonight, as you rest, let yourself imagine one small thing you can release tomorrow. One grip you can loosen. One breath you can soften. And trust that peace is always closer than it seems. Now close your eyes and take a slow breath in. Then let it gently go. Allow yourself to land softly in this moment. No roles to play. No names to carry. Nothing to become. Just you. Just breath. Just now. You've been holding so much. Expectations. Titles. Stories of who you were, who you should be. But right now, you don't need any of that. Right now, you are enough as you are. Allow all those layers to gently fall away, like leaves in early autumn. They were part of your journey, but they are not you. Now, with your eyes closed and breath slow, imagine you are a small bonsai tree, rooted deeply into rich, moist soil. The morning air is cool and gentle. Mist surrounds you, soft like a blanket. You are not trying to grow, not rushing upward. You are just breathing. Your roots reach down, steady and calm. And your branches rest in stillness. No need to impress. No need to compete. The sun finds you anyway. Even here. Even small. Even quiet. Feel the way the light touches your leaves. Warm. Slow. Patient. There is no pressure. Only presence. Now, bring your attention gently to your thoughts, without needing to fix or change them. Just notice. Are there thoughts pulling you away from stillness? Thoughts of yesterday or tomorrow, of success or failure, of not doing enough. Let them float by like clouds in the sky. Nothing to hold on to. You are not your thoughts. You are the space beneath them. Wide, open, free. Now return gently to your body. Notice where it touches the surface beneath you. Your back, your legs, your feet. Feel the ground holding you. Steady, silent, unshaken. Relax your shoulders. Let them drop. Soften your jaw, your belly, your hands. You don't need to carry anything right now. Take a slow, steady breath in and out. Again, inhale gently and exhale without effort. With each breath, you are coming home to yourself. Not the self shaped by achievement or titles, but the self that simply is. Now silently say to yourself, I do not need to rise higher to be whole. I can grow inward, quietly, and that is enough. I allow myself to pause, to breathe, to belong. There is nothing I need to fix tonight. There is nowhere I must arrive to be at peace. Let these words settle into your heart like morning dew on fresh leaves. No force, just presence. And now, as you feel your breath slow and soften even more, know that it's safe to rest. There is nothing more to figure out right now. You can release the mind. Let it wander like mist into the trees. You are rooted. You are held. You can let go. Sleep will come gently, like the quiet footsteps of dawn. You don't have to chase it. Just breathe. And be. You've already arrived. There's a quiet kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from doing too much, but from always trying to be more productive, more likable, more successful. Somewhere along the way, we began measuring ourselves against invisible lines set by strangers online, or silent expectations in the eyes of people around us. We scroll through perfect photos, curated lives, carefully chosen words that say, "I've made it." And maybe we believe we haven't. Maybe we look in the mirror and only see the things we're not yet. Not thin enough, not brave enough, not accomplished enough. So we keep stretching, reaching, as if happiness lives just beyond the next milestone. But what if it doesn't? Imagine a person reaching for a distant door, floating just out of reach. They strain and stretch, unaware that they're already standing on solid ground. The air is quiet. The ground is steady. But they don't feel it because their eyes are only on the door. Maybe that's us. Sometimes, not broken, not behind, just distracted. We forget the quiet truth. We're already whole, even in progress, even in uncertainty, even in rest. Tonight, let that sink in. You don't have to run toward another version of yourself. You don't have to earn your place here. Let this be the breath where you come back to who you already are. Maybe happiness was never about having more. Maybe it was always about seeing clearly. Seeing yourself, not in comparison to anyone else, but in the quiet light of your own being. We spend so much time looking sideways, checking if we're ahead, behind, or somehow falling short. But what if you didn't have to be more than anyone? What if the only thing that matters is being real with yourself? You don't need to shine like someone else's version of success. You just need enough light to see your own steps, enough clarity to know what brings you peace, enough honesty to admit what doesn't. A flower does not think of competing. It just blooms. And you You're allowed to unfold in your own way, in your own time, at your own pace. Not every path has to be loud. Not every victory has to be seen. Some of the most meaningful growth happens quietly when no one's watching. But you feel it inside. A little more ease in your breath. A little less need to prove. Tonight, can you allow yourself that softness? You don't need to be better to be worthy. You're not a project, and you're a presence. Let that thought rest beside you like a gentle hand. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're simply blooming, even now. Picture this. A person standing by a windowsill every morning, watering a small plant. No one's watching. No one will ever praise them for it. But they do it anyway, not for applause, but because they love the green, because it matters to them. Somewhere else, a single candle glows in a quiet room. It's not dazzling. It doesn't need to be. It simply fills one corner with warmth. Soft. Steady. Enough. There's an old sweater folded neatly on a chair. It's not stylish. The sleeves are frayed, but it's been with you through winters that asked more of your heart than your body. It held your shoulders on days you thought you'd fall apart. And tonight, as you sit with yourself, that's enough. You don't have to dazzle. You don't have to bloom for anyone to see. You just have to be here. To keep showing up for the small things that mean something to you. To tend your garden, however small. To light your one candle. To wear the sweater that makes you feel like home. You don't need to grow taller to be real. You just need to root deeper into yourself. What's ordinary to the world can still be sacred to you. What doesn't sparkle can still shine gently in your life. This, too, is a kind of light, a kind of wholeness, a kind of happiness that asks for nothing except that you stay close to who you are. So maybe tomorrow, you don't have to wake up trying to fix yourself. Maybe you don't need to earn your rest. You are not a project. You are a person. You can sit down with your morning coffee without checking how much you've achieved. You can pause before breakfast and let the silence be a friend. You can cook a meal just for you, not rushed, not skipped, not from guilt, but like you would if someone you loved was sitting at the table. Stir gently, plate it slowly, light a candle if you want. You can stop measuring your worth by how busy or useful you've been. Breathe. Let the dishes wait a little. You're not behind. You're not late. You are here. And that is enough. Some days you'll be tired. Some days your list will be untouched. Still, you are worthy of softness, of peace, of sitting still without needing to earn it. Your value is not a race, not a role. It is a presence, and you have that already. So if tomorrow comes, meet it gently. Speak to yourself kindly. Let the mirror reflect someone who doesn't need fixing, only a little more kindness. And if you forget, that's okay too. Begin again with a breath, one quiet act of care, one kind glance in the mirror, one moment of choosing ease, and maybe, just maybe, that's what wholeness looks like. No medals, no applause, just breathing, eating, resting, living with heart, with presence, and with deep, steady compassion for the self you already are. So now, gently ask yourself, what if who you are now is already enough to be kind? You've come a long way. Gently, slowly, just by being here. Maybe you didn't notice it, but something inside you has softened. Through these stories, you've touched the quiet strength of small acts, the beauty of simple connection, and the calm that comes when we stop trying to become someone else and start arriving in who we already are. You've planted tiny seeds tonight of kindness, of enoughness, of intention. And you didn't have to try hard. You didn't have to prove anything. You just listened. You felt. And in doing so, something shifted. Sometimes, that's all it takes. A moment of stillness. A breath that reaches a little deeper. A memory that finds its way home. You don't have to rush to grow these seeds. You don't even have to know what they'll become. Just trust that something good has been set in motion. There's a quiet magic in simply showing up, in being present, even just with yourself. You don't need to fix everything before morning. You don't need to figure out your entire life tonight. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to rest. And in this rest, healing happens not in loud ways, but in ways that stay. Let this be a gentle reminder that your presence matters. The way you smile, the way you listen, the way you care, even when no one sees it. Those are not small things. They are seeds of peace. And peace doesn't always come from answers or achievements. Sometimes it comes from letting go, just enough to feel the ground beneath your feet again. So now, as the night deepens and the world around you grows quieter, let this be the part where you don't try anymore, where you just let it be. You have done enough. You are enough. The seeds are already in the soil. You don't need to push them to bloom. They know what to do. So take this breath. Feel how soft it is. Let it carry you into rest. And when morning comes, may something inside you remember that happiness isn't always loud, and fulfillment doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it simply sits with you in silence and stays. Now, Allow yourself to settle into your bed. Feel the surface beneath you, holding you without effort. Let your arms rest by your sides. Your jaw soften. Your belly loosen just a little. And take one slow, kind breath in and let it out with a soft sigh. Again, breathe in gently and breathe out slowly, as if every breath is a small wave, washing you further into rest. Imagine you are standing beside a river at night. The sky above is deep and star-filled. The water moves slowly, reflecting soft light across its surface. You feel the earth under your feet, solid, grounding, quiet. In your hands, you hold a small leaf. It's not heavy, just something you've carried for a long time. Maybe a memory, maybe an old belief, maybe a pressure you no longer need. Now, take one more breath and gently place the leaf onto the water. Watch as it floats, spinning once, then moving downstream. No struggle, no force, just release. And as you watch it drift away, you notice you are still whole, still safe, still here. Let your shoulders sink a little deeper, your face soften, your thoughts slow like the current of the river. There's nothing to fix tonight, no decisions to make, no roles to play, only this soft permission to rest, to trust the moment, to be held by sleep itself. Take a moment now to let the day soften behind you. Let your body settle, wherever you are, in bed, under a soft blanket, or simply lying still in the quiet of night. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to become anyone. This moment is enough. This breath is enough. Like the earth after sundown, you too are allowed to rest. Imagine now a garden at night. The sky is deep and still. The moon hangs softly above. In the quiet soil below, tiny seeds are sleeping. They are not growing yet, but they are not lost. They are simply resting, gently, in the dark, with complete trust that what they are becoming will come in its own time. You are like that too. A quiet garden, a soft place where something beautiful is already unfolding. Even if you can't see it, even if nothing moves on the surface tonight. Now, take your attention to the top of your head. Let the space around your scalp soften, your forehead loosen, your eyebrows drift apart. Let your eyes grow heavier, your cheeks relax, your jaw release. Unclench your teeth if you notice any holding there. There is nothing you need to say, nothing to figure out. Bring awareness to your neck, your shoulders. Invite them to drop, even just a little. like leaves falling gently from a tree. Let your arms soften. Elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, all the way to the fingertips. Let go of what you carried today. Shift awareness now to your chest. Your breath moving in and out. Feel the rise and fall like slow waves. There's no need to deepen it. Just follow. Gently bring your awareness to your belly. Let it expand naturally and settle. You are safe. Now, bring your attention down into your hips, your lower back, your thighs. Let the weight of your legs be held by the surface beneath you. Allow your knees to soften. Your calves, ankles, and feet, all the way to each toe. You are not holding the world right now. You are being held from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Your whole body is resting. Your breath is like a breeze through that quiet night garden. Nothing forced, just moving gently through. If thoughts appear, that's okay. Let them drift by like clouds across a moonlit sky. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to change them. Just return to the feeling of your breath, the ground beneath you, the way the body becomes quieter, more open, more still. And now, notice the feeling of simply being, not doing, not achieving, just being. You don't need to bloom tonight. You don't need to wake the seed. Just let it sleep. Let yourself sleep. Let the night hold you. The way the earth holds every seed, with patience, with warmth, with trust. You've done enough for today. You've listened. You've felt. You've breathed. Let this rest be your gift, not your reward. There is nothing more to figure out. You are safe to release, safe to sink, safe to fall gently into sleep. When morning comes, the light will return, and so will you. But for now, the garden sleeps, and so do you.